And this was like way over anything I would be expecting, but it just kind of shows, okay, at least when you compare these two situations, Disney definitely handled it way better than what Royal Caribbean did. Not everything goes right while cruising. In a recent video posted here on the channel, I showed you on board the Brilliance of the Seas a situation, or actually 3 things that kind of went wrong, I would say. And I'm not usually one to go to the front desk or the concierge to, let's say, complain about something, but I decided this time I'm gonna do it. And in the end of that video, I said I'll definitely come back and give you an update about how Royal Caribbean handled this situation and what happened. And as I was sitting down to record Sunday Sofa Time today, I realized I never made that video. So that's what we're doing today. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. I've been making travel videos for over 15 years of popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it's like to be there. And if you like to read weird and funny travel stories, check out my book, Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship. It's available on Amazon now. The video I'm referring to is called Cruise Influencer Complains About First World Problems. And yes, all the things that I mentioned in that video and the things that went wrong are definitely first world problems. Nothing that happened then and nothing that I'm gonna say or discuss in this video is gonna change anybody's life for the good or bad. It's just YouTube. I'm just making this purely for entertainment, so make sure you keep that in mind if you decide to watch this whole video. Just to give you a little catch up, I was on the Brilliance of the Seas cruising from Honolulu to Vancouver. A show got canceled and then 2 activities got canceled. And I'm not usually one to take the time to actually go and talk to somebody about, I would say, minor things that go wrong. But because it was all in such a short period of time, I just decided, all right, somebody should say something. I'm gonna say something. I kind of am curious to see what happens after that. And instead of going to the front desk or the so-called guest relations, I went to the status lounge up at the top of the ship and talked to the concierge there. The main reason I did that is because I just figured there would be less of a line to actually talk to somebody, and I figured they are just as qualified to deal with issues and complaints as somebody at the front desk. None of these things that happened, like I said, are like huge deals. It was just that they all happened so quickly one after the other, and it kind of made me feel like something altogether is not going right on this ship. For me, not that big of a deal, like I said, because I get to travel a lot, I get to do a lot of fun things in a year, so minor occurrences aren't something that I spend a lot of time thinking about. But I know that there are so many people out there who save up months, years to do one cruise, and so for people like that, I think it's important that the cruise lines know when something goes wrong. At no point was I thinking,
all right, I'm gonna go complain about this because then I can get something for free.
There are unfortunately people like that out there, and I think that is never the reason to complain or to talk with the front desk about a situation. I'm trying to think of what would be an example of a time where you would complain about something and the outcome like actually should be you getting something for free. I guess maybe like if you paid, you know, $140 for a massage on board and then it was like awful, or you had an allergic reaction to the oil or whatever. Maybe you went to an upcharge restaurant and all the food was cold. You booked an excursion and the excursion didn't happen. Those are, of course, situations where it might make sense to get a deep discount or your money back. But all the things that are relevant for this situation, they were things that were included in the price of the cruise anyway. So how would you look at, in relation to the cost of the cruise, how much would this actually cost and how much would this actually cost? It's not about that. But I sat down with the concierge, I was very friendly, and I just said, I just wanted to let you know that I'm a little bit disappointed. Some things have gone wrong. The show got canceled. I understand why. We got an explanation of why. And now we've been on the ship for 4 or 5 more days and there's still no musical shows, and I'm disappointed about that. And then there are 2 other activities separate from each other that I went to that other people were waiting for, and then nobody showed up to lead the activity. They just didn't happen and everybody left. The concierge was very understanding, listened to what I had to say, tried to contact somebody from the cruise activities staff. For the one situation, it seemed like the person who was supposed to be doing the activity missed the time change on board. And you know, the more I think about this, the more I kind of think that's a really lame excuse. They made several announcements on board, and I'm sure the activity staff heard these announcements too. And there must have been signs in the crew areas everywhere reminding the crew of the time change. You know what I mean? Like, how could that not be a thing? But so I mentioned all these things to the concierge. While I was there, they tried to get an answer from the activities team. She took my cabin number, and then I went about my day. And before I tell you what actually happened after that, I'm really interested to know, what do you think as also a cruiser, as a traveler, what do you think should have happened after that? I'm a paying guest, just like everybody else. I'm also in one of the higher tiers of the frequent cruiser program, which doesn't mean that I should be getting any better service than anybody else who's paid for the cruise, if you ask me. But it's still a factor. And the things that I was mentioning, these are not like opinion things. It's not me saying, I went to the show and I didn't think the show was good, so I want something back. Or I went to trivia and the trivia questions were too hard, so I want a prize anyways. Those would be like my opinion of something going wrong. These were things that actually went wrong. They did not happen. They were listed on the schedule or, you know, promised by the cruise line, and then they just didn't happen. And when I'm sitting here now, I can think of really only one other time where something bothered me so much on a cruise that I decided to say something about it to guest services, and that was on the Disney Dream. Marcus and I decided to splurge a little bit, and we got an aft balcony cabin with this quite large balcony on the corner at the back of the ship. And I think it was when we were in Nassau that we planned, all right, you know, we don't need to go on land in Nassau. That'll be the day that we really enjoy having this huge balcony to ourselves, maybe sit out in the sun, maybe get some room service, maybe have a glass of wine. And then on that day, they were painting the balcony next to us with this, you know, like waterproof paint, and it was stinky. So we basically couldn't use our balcony for a couple hours that afternoon, and it was disappointing. Then I went to the front desk. I explained to them, yeah, we were planning to be on our balcony this afternoon and we can't go on our balcony, not only because there's these workers standing next to us the whole time, but it stinks. And on Disney, not only did those workers disappear immediately after I got back to the cabin, but our cabin steward showed up to mention, just so you know, they've stopped working today, and as soon as that paint is dried, you can go out there. Without me even asking for it, they also sent a bottle of wine and an apology card. And this was like way over anything I would be expecting, but it just kind of shows, okay, at least when you compare these two situations, Disney definitely handled it way better than what Royal Caribbean did. And now I'm gonna tell you what Royal Caribbean did, and that is nothing. After I went to the concierge and politely explained all the situations and said I was disappointed by these things, I thought that maybe at least I would get another phone call, you know, maybe from the activities director or something, apologizing about the mix-up, about the mistakes. You know, I feel like that might be the least you can do, and takes like 20 seconds, but nothing happened, nothing at all. And now listen, this is definitely not me saying,
oh my gosh, can you believe they didn't send me a bottle of wine like Disney did?
It's more of me just like literally reporting, this went wrong, this is what I said, and after that, this is what happened. You know, kind of like, okay, if you're curious, this is what went down. Are you surprised? I mean, I guess while I was sitting there, the concierge did try to get an answer about the activities, but do you think there should have been maybe a follow-up, something else? I don't know. Like I said, I just wanted to check in with you and let you know what happened, and what happened was nothing. And now you know. I will soon be leaving this apartment and be gone for almost 4 weeks. So I'm in the process of recording and editing and uploading a bunch of videos in advance, and at the moment, they're all gonna be on Patreon first. So if you're sitting around bored thinking,
oh my gosh, there's nothing to watch on YouTube. I wish Morgan would upload more videos.
You can go watch like 3 or 4 videos that nobody else has seen on Patreon right now. It's patreon.com/veryunofficial. And now I'm gonna click the camera off and click it right back on and record Sunday Sofa Time, in which I'm gonna show you how horrible the old Love Boat show was. I think Love Boat is a show that brought so much attention to the cruise industry. It's probably hard to deny that the cruise industry would be as successful as it is today if the show Love Boat didn't exist, but people, holy crap, this show was disgusting. Check back in a few days for Sunday Sofa Time and you'll see exactly what I mean, and I look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.